Talkkuna, a tradition with roasted grains. Saying from Finland is "Come Christmas, kringling Christmas, then the children will eat butter and old women talkkuna." And to the left you can see a Christmas tree, and if you wonder what is that standing next to the Christmas tree, then it is so that in Finland in old days when we used to have a goat who was bringing the present for the children. So it was called like Christmas goat. So this red Father Christmas is a much newer thing. And even in 1970s still, and it was the goat who was at least in our region, in the farmsteads, who visited at Christmas. So back to talkkuna. Talkkuna is a food of flour. It's made of, for example, barley and oat. And the cereals are first cooked half ready, then dried during a long time, and afterwards milled to flour. This whole process takes about 3 days. The drying was traditionally made in a smoke sauna in Finland, so it got this smoky roasted taste. Why was talkkuna made? Let's first have a look at Wikipedia and the Swedish page for talkkuna. It's called skredmjöl in Swedish. And I have been writing here first wrong, so there are a little bit wrong in this description in this page. Talkkuna consists of oats roasted in wood-fired ovens and milled in stone mills. This method originates from Finnish immigrants in the 17th century to Sweden. When the oats ripened in late fall, they molded and could not be used for food. Oats were sometimes dried on wooden ladders. It's kinds of wooden constructions were made in the field to put then the oat to dry on. But this was not a flawless method. Instead, the grain was dried in large stone ovens. The oats were dehulled and the kernels milled. The resulting flour was possible to storage for a long time. When you made talkkuna, then it had to be of very good quality. So I don't know why this is now connected here, this Wikipedia page, this that the oats didn't ripen in late fall and molded. Yes, I'm sure that happened, but you were not using that for food, so, and it had nothing to do with talkkuna either. Correct would be to say that in the past people did a lot of hard physical work and women worked long hours. Quickly prepared food was important then as it is today. Talkkuna flour gave a change to the morning porridge and lunchtime soup at a time when people lived off what they produced on their own fields and of their animals. Although talkkuna can be used to make porridge and pirogues and snacks quickly, it still took time to make it. And the good thing was that you could make that in advance and then use it later. So in this way, this talkkuna was a kind of fast food or canned food that we use today. It was always ready in the cupboard and you could quickly make food from it. So that's the main point. You made a kind of pre-ready food that you quickly could prepare for you to eat. So this Swedish Wikipedia page, they are talking here about oats, and perhaps in those regions also oats were more used as, but we were using in Finland also both oats and barley for talkkuna. This method of treating grain by both cooking and roasting them is not a process that is only done in Finland, but it is widely known in the world now. We mentioned this kama from Estonia, Russian tolkono, and talkan in Turkey. In Spain, we have something called gufia. It's a flour made from roasted grains. they use wheat because that's what they are producing there. And you can also use beans, and from these Canarian Islands, it have been spreading out to also the Caribbean area and Western Sahara. In Korea, they are using miso. It's a stir-fried barley. And this was a delicacy in old days, and it was easy to serve also when you were on a travel. The same reason why it has been in Finland made. And in Korea, they have been making it also from, besides from barley, also from different types of rice and beans. Then in Tibet, they make champa. It's also made from roasted flour, usually barley flour, and sometimes also wheat. And they are adding 3 peon seeds to it also, or a flour of that prepared from that. Then there is something similar also in Syria, Egypt, Turkey, Palestine, Tunisia, and Algeria. So the Arabic word around the Mediterranean south and east coast, it's called freke. It's a little bit different in the way that the cereal was picked when it was green. So they didn't wait for it to be totally ready. So when it's passing this milk stage, and after that you could harvest it, and then you can roast it and you can rub it to create this flavor. And that was then used with durum. In Finland, we use the smoke sauna for the drying process, and the cooking was typically outdoors. And here you can see a smoke sauna, and you can see a big iron pot, you could say, where it is then cooked. And peas are added, not for the taste. It's not bad as the taste, of course, but not just for the taste, but it's an indicator of to show when are the cereals ready cooked. No, so it's these grains, a little peas, and then salt that this producer makes. When the peas are ready, then the grain is ready for the drying process, and you take it up. You can see they have a white linen put on an iron. It's kind of an iron bed that have holes in it. So they put the grains on here so the excess of the water can drop down. And after that, it is being transferred into the smoke sauna. And they have been building such frames with net under, and you have to steer it a lot regularly in order for it to dry evenly. At YouTube, you find a video making talkkuna at Virri Farm, when you can, during 7 minutes, look at these processes from the beginning. And there is also English text to that video. Traditionally, you were cooking in such big iron pot, which was then usually done outdoors. And here you can see to the right down Stöpafors mill in Sweden, where they are roasting grains for talkkuna, and there is wood fire under this big pot here. And then there is automatically, it's being steered all the time. A little bit back, and let's keep in mind that the Swedish Wikipedia, which wrote about this bad and molded oats, so all grains are not good for talkkuna, and barley and oat were mostly used. And it's very important that only well-sorted grain with very even quality, that's what is taken for talkkuna. So it was never made talkkuna of bad grains. You can also have a mix of different cereals. Also rye, buckwheat, peas, and brown beans have been used. And from the map you can see that barley, it's the black dots. They are mostly up here in central Finland, and that's the area of barley production. And then you have in the southern parts of Finland, you have oat talkkuna were made, but also other different types or mixed different types was used here in southern Finland. Cooking, drying in smoke sauna or in riihi, the building where grain usually were dried, and milling. Let's look at this 3-day process. The first day you clean the grains, you cook it, and then you put some peas in as indicators. You add also salt. When pea is ready, then the grain is also ready to be taken away or stop the cooking. Then the first night you're going to dry it in the smoke sauna, and you stir it regularly. It must be an even warm. You do not put it in thicker layers than 3 centimeters. The second day you continue to dry the grain in the smoke sauna, and you continue to stir it regularly. Then the second night you let the grain cold in bags, so you put it in bags and you put it on the floor in the sauna so that it will be slowly cooling down. And then the third day is the day when you're going to mill it into flour. In different areas of Finland and also Estonia, they are using it, or the way you mill it is a little bit different. So in Kainuu and Oulu area, which is in central Finland, they are coarsely milled, and also coarsely milled in Estonia. But in southern parts of Finland, they were milled finer. And that's because in the central parts of Finland, they made porridge for it, and then you need it coarsely milled. But in the southern Finland, we were using it with milk products, and then it was milled into fine flour. If you try to make a porridge out of this fine milled, then it becomes like a glue. Whole grain oats was dehusked after it was dried and then it was sifted after the milling. You can also dry it in a stone oven and then roast it on a pan afterwards. The best fire you get with alder tree, as it gives not too strong heat, and the oven was raked with a birch broom. So when you make bread, then usually it was used spruce or pine. The grain is stirred constantly at the beginning of the drying. Even a few burnt grains will give a bitter taste. Then after 6 to 7 hours, the grain is bagged, so you put it in bags and you leave it to cool down in the bags on the floor. How do you eat talkkuna? Before, as porridge and gruel, and also in salty pies. And you could roll this into balls, so you were cooking it to a porridge and then you rolled it into balls and then eat it with fatty pork, or it could be dipped in fried pork fat as well. But it was then this very thick porridge. Then nowadays you eat it with milk products, mostly sour milk products such as kefir and yogurt, and there are different sour milk products that it's used with. You can add also berries like blueberries, lingonberries, and milk, and then you put this talkkuna into that and stir around, and you get a kind of nice drink. And it can be used in desserts, such as with ice cream or with chocolate, or with different milk products also for dessert. And also, for example, as flakes or with snacks. And there are many different traditional dishes in Finland that use this talkkuna, and you can see they are quite nice, the names also in Finnish, and there are a long list of this kind of names. Have a look on these products then. So in Estonia there is a village association which is making this very nice traditional talkkuna or kama, as it is called in Estonia, and they make it out of an heirloom rye called, or it's a heirloom rye. It's an old sort actually from 19th century Sangaste. And you can see on their packages, the blue one is their really new package for a new type one with also linen or flax seeds in it, and it came into the shops here in 2024. And in the middle you have always an poem. So they have a local poetry that is writing poetry for the packages, and then there is also a local artist who is making the design for the packages. And even if the village association are doing it on this voluntary basis, then and it's not an industrial production, then they are selling it also in quite big shops in Estonia. So a very nice product and a nice way to earn money also for the own village. Here you can see the different packages of Talkkuna from Finland. And some of them are coarsely milled and some of them are finer milled, depending on then where you are in Finland. That is what there will be in the shelf. And this was traditionally eaten a lot summertime. So summertime this was nearly daily eaten then with sour milk products. These are some examples of this Talkkuna or kama from Estonia. And you can see in the upper line to the right, you can see two examples again from this village association and their packages. And then in the lower line, there is a smaller producer, also handicraft produced. And they have really made a huge variety of their kama. So there is one with blueberries, there is some with ribes, and there is aronia berries and cacao, and there is a nice Christmas kama as well. And in Sweden, there are not many companies anymore producing this flour. At least two are doing it still, but maybe there are three. And those who are producing it, they are all from these areas where the Finns used to live in these areas. So it's totally dependent on this immigration that came into Sweden in the 17th century and before that as well. Here is just a list of different mills and companies that are producing this Talkkuna in Finland, Estonia and Sweden, and some of these links may not be functioning anymore, so they may not be producing it anymore. And you can see that we had two that were doing organic also in Finland, and one organic product was there also, used to be in Sweden at least. So there is in Finland, there has also been one gluten-free buckwheat Talkkuna possible to buy, and also different spelt flour Talkkunas. I have found only one chocolate where also Talkkuna flour was added, but this was only it was a handicraft made, and possibly it is not all the time available either. In Estonia, also the biggest producer have traditionally made this kama or Talkkuna chocolate, and there are also other producers who are making it. And for example, you can get this Talkkuna chocolate with berries as well. So they have many different varieties of this. In Finland, they have been making this talkmuru out of whole grain oat, barley and rye. And also in Estonia, they have been making this kind of small ball snack who have been making that. And And then in Estonia, there are also this, like very, very small ones for children to eat. They have packaged them very nicely in a small can. Then still some more products from Estonia. Estonians have been doing a lot of product development in using this kama. And to the left, you have sour milk with hemp seeds and with this kama. And in the middle, it's organic produced yogurt together with kama. So it's ready to drink. These are packages in such small packages, very small bottles. I think it is, cannot quite see it here, but it's as a snack in the morning. If you are on the run or you are in a hurry, you can buy these and then quickly drink them. And as there is reels also, then you get the feeling that you have been eating something. To the right, you have you have this kama with kvark, milk product. And it can be eaten as such, or you can also use it if you are making desserts. And at the bottom, there is yogurt ice cream with rye kama. And this rye is also this old rye sort that is being used here. Well, as this is a quite old tradition and old dish, it is still there. It is still being produced, even if a lot of people don't eat it anymore. It hasn't been that popular among city people. I think still a lot of rural people are eating it in summertime. There are two quite new books from one from 2005 and one from 2015 that both are really good, of course, in Finnish. And Estonians have also made one book with some recipes also included about their kama. So talkkuna is something, it's cooked and it's smoked and it's dried, so it's a lot of treatment on this. And funny enough, then there is also a saying like talkkuna head. And this description is very good. I think all of you know perhaps some talkkuna heads. It's a colleague that is unable to concentrate even so little as 5 to 10 seconds to listen to your problems. And then he or she starts to read own emails, surf on internet, or start touching own mobile telephone. And that could be then, you could tell that this person is a talkkuna head, talkkuna pää in Finnish. I had a look at geographical locations in Finland named Talkkuna, and actually you find quite a lot of them as well. If you got interested in these other ways of doing Talkkuna in other countries, as there are many similar processing methods of treating grain to get it a really long storage time, then in Wikipedia you find these gufios and misus and champas and also freke and other countries what they are doing. Perhaps you will find something even for your own country as well.